This is a busy street bustling with activities, and if you take a closer look at the far-off place from where I am, there are brisk businesses going on. This is arguably one of the biggest markets for hard drugs. Crack cocaine addiction is a big problem among the youth here. Many of them abuse the drug for its stimulating properties. For consumers of crack cocaine, it makes them intensely high.
I smoke cocaine since 1998. This is not my level, but because of friendship.
Crack cocaine is extremely potent. It is one of the most addictive forms of cocaine and has led to the destruction of families and lives. This is a disease spreading like wildfire nationwide. It has stolen many lives and shattered the dreams of many. I am here in Odona, Sahara, a community located on the banks of the Odo River in Accra, a fast-growing slum filled with mostly immigrants and a home to more than 16,000 people. But the growth has come with many businesses, including illegal ones. I had a hint, crack cocaine is traded here, and so I set my cameras rolling. Drug sellers here barely come out in the open. They mostly operate in these makeshift structures, many of them call bunker. I got closer to these young men who are known as the main guys on the street. Clients craving for a fix come to them and they get sorted out. Despite its clandestine nature, the cocaine trade is booming. The mad rush for it here is unbelievable. Call it drug epidemic. "29-year-old Erica Addo, not her real name, had just bought the crack cocaine before we crossed paths. Wrapped in a tiny torn paper, she unwraps it and begins the process of getting high. Crack cocaine comes in the form of crystallized rocks and is a chemical variant of cocaine. When heated, the crack crystals create vapors that can be inhaled to create an extremely powerful short-term euphoric effect, just like how Erica is doing it.
Me free say me say answer bibia yeden akọ me body nim by way nya ade bia eyewe.
It is considered the most addictive form of cocaine. At times, it is mixed with other drugs such as marijuana and heroin, called by many here as Thai. Erica has been addicted to all these drugs for close to 5 years.
Say it's the first thing I see na me tie na fe ti bia me send me ma ba mu.
She came from Sunyai in the southern part of Ghana to Accra to seek greener pastures. But due to the high rate of unemployment in the country, she was depressed and got hooked to drugs.
At times, I'm atumi akasakasa.
Now kasakasa.
Sir.
Nteya eya osana embo mu se bia wo boda mana bibi. ade sa wo say yin fa na oda.
We don't store anymore.
Feelings of regret, remorse, and guilt about not having the ability to control how things are happening in her life and knowing the risks of her decisions are her daily struggles. 29-year-old Erica Addo, not her real name, is one of the many females here in Sahara who are strongly addicted to this drug. This here is called a Thai, and this is cocaine. It comes in a rocky form, very tiny but powerful. It's been, let's say, about 5 minutes after Erica has taken this, and she tells me she feels very strong and powerful. And in as much as she is addicted to this drug, it is gradually eating up her health. When you see Erica from a distance, you can clearly tell that she's not healthy. All her veins are very visible and her skin looks dry. He left home when he was 12 after his father passed, and his mother abandoned him in Aguna Swedro in the central region of Ghana. A heady smell from the door drain, yet every day. Ishmael, also not his real name, wades through rubbish stuck in the stagnant water, broken glasses and toxic waste, collecting scrap metal and used plastic bottles to sell to be able to buy the drugs. He makes 10 to 15 Ghana cedis from selling a full sack like this one, and is able to sell 4 of that in a day. He's made some money today and is finally settled to satisfy his cravings.
Wait, and offer a rock.
This is called rock.
And na a cocaine and cassa. The ash no good one canosia. Nam the rock no etuso.
After putting the cigarette ash on the smoking pipe, I then place the crack cocaine on it and smoke. You don't speak while inhaling it, else you will not feel the stimulation. It is expensive, so one has to concentrate while smoking it. After the crack cocaine, I cool it down with heroin.
Now white powder na and offer no cooling. Yadijabeka yabeshwa tiny the empathy if you kuma udugu enu super which is ya ebeshe. Tiny the empathy. Yasheshe banana ni wiesa na near the tie no egu so. We no friend a tie white powder. We half tie no. Half tie no. We 150,000. It's got 150,000 and I did away. 4 in 30 Ghana. Intimidate egu so. The old do go sorry, yeah. How are we no friendly chasing? We no friendly chasing.
I then chase the vapor from the heat.
We will be our touch white bird in our solar and upon when be a.
If an addict does not take it every morning, they feel restless.
How?
Ishmael tells me he's been married to crack cocaine for a decade. He's a silent killer.
A friend used to mix cocaine and weed for me, but I was not aware. I feel my future has hit the rocks.
He wants to be a better person for himself, but drug addiction has been his biggest challenge to overcome. He feels sick when he does not take it daily.
Drug abuse is becoming a serious problem. The cause of the alarming rate of the abuse, especially among the youth, can be traced to the high unemployment among the youth, the frustration of the highly qualified students not having access to further education, and the general economic situation in the country. Cocaine and marijuana has been identified as the major drug of abuse among the youth in Ghana. The World Health Organization has warned that many young Africans are turning to substance abuse. The UN predicts that by 2030, the number of drug users in Africa will have increased substantially. Across the continent, drug addicts often face discrimination and lack of support, making it difficult for them to regain their lives even if they stop using it.
Individuals who abuse crack cocaine, heroin and marijuana will put forth every effort to obtain these drugs regardless of the negative effects they have on their health. Like many countries, drug abuse is one of the many challenges Ghana struggles with. The production and use of these drugs in Ghana remains illegal, and anti-drug authorities carry out raids and arrests, but the problem persists. At the receiving end of the illicit trade, where men, women, young and old are hooked on drugs, quite a number of people in Odona Sahara have died from the abuse of it.
Over consuming of drugs is one situation that is very, very problematic. In a year, we can get about 50 people who died and we don't know where they come from. And that is one situation that is very, very problematic. When your relative is traveling to Accra to go and find something to live on, please make sure you always contact them.
Besides the perennial flooding in the community, the dire drug situation is hitting the people hard every day. Addiction to crack cocaine, heroin, marijuana, among other drugs, is a very serious medical condition that can only be dealt with through professional medical care. A good rehabilitation center offers comprehensive treatment to help individuals beat their addiction. Ghana has very few public rehabilitation centers, and those run by private sector are expensive. Rehabilitation centers like this one in Accra at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital are among the very few substance abusers can get help. I've come here to see firsthand how distracting substance abuse can be.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change.
Very young people are getting addicted to, especially marijuana. And when they come, they have psychosis. Like when I say psychosis, they are hallucinating, they are seeing things you are not seeing, talking to themselves. And that's the problem that we have now. So these meetings is able to make sure that they continue with their treatment. Other than that, they may stay and become rusted.
It's another day at the Serenity Place in the Accra Psychiatric Hospital, a drug addiction, rehabilitation and recovery center. This 24-year-old man is one of the residential clients going through counseling to overcome his addiction to cannabis. Every morning, he says a prayer to Allah to guide him through his journey to recovery. He's been here for 2 months. He started smoking when he was 18 years old in senior high school. He grew up from a broken home and did not really have a relationship with his dad while growing up.
I was having trouble with academic performance, and I had a lot of pressure coming from my dad to set up and put in the results. But even though I was putting in the effort, the results wasn't coming. So I decided to look for, I'll say, like a temporary escape at that time. Yeah, and also I grew up in a kind of strict family, and I always felt like the black sheep at home. And yeah, so it got to a point I just wanted to escape from all that back problems.
Smoking made him feel better and happy, but he realized he was getting addicted when he began his tertiary education.
I used to take like an ounce every 3 days, an ounce of weed, yeah, and that will boil down to like maybe at least 10 rolls a day. it makes me feel happy to some extent, and also it gives me a sort of alertness that might sound strange, but I felt that. And also when I smoke, it gives me appetite. I'm able to eat well, and everything else seems good. Every experience feels good. Music sounds better, videos feel better, and everything around me feels better.
He hopes to stop after here, but he tells me it might be hard.
My days of addiction, I did a lot of things my own way, and I wasn't doing a lot of soul searching to know what my soul was yearning for. Thank you for having me here.
This man in the same ward started taking drugs when he was 14 years. For years, he has had run-ins with police and confrontations with family members because of drug abuse. He's now 38 years old and in the path of recovery from drugs. However, the scars of this disease are still very much apparent in his life.
Imagine growing up in a Zongo area like Sukula. Yes, so I normally see some uncles smoking. They used to send me, go and buy this, go and buy marijuana for me, go and buy king size for me, go and buy cigarette, alcohol. And so as I was growing, I wanted to experiment it.
He was no longer getting high from marijuana, so he had to go for something stronger: crack cocaine and heroin. Married with 3 children, they left because he became aggressively violent.
I hit my wife and she fainted, and as at then nobody came to even help me to get her up from the floor. And since that day I met my rock bottom. Rock bottom in addiction means you get into you realizing that you have a problem of addiction, and if you are not willing, you cannot get help. So that was when I realized that I need help. If I don't go in for treatment, I may end up in a treatment like in a psychiatry, or I may end up in a prison.
Elam Aheto, a senior staff nurse and a counselor, and Hilary Salasi Nutako, a nursing officer and addiction counselor, are in charge at the Serenity Ward.
So we bold enough, pointing it out will also help the other person to also take the wrong things out.
Majority of the people that comes here, mostly the youth, who we expect that they are going to become the future of the country. So it's totally alarming. You have to be here for a minimum of 3 months and a maximum of 6 months. Addiction doesn't know the color or the type of person you are or anything. It can happen to anybody. So we should be able to also help them when you suspect somebody with such conditions.
Due to financial constraints, clients are unable to enroll on the counseling because it's expensive. The private sector is even worse.
O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand.
While few survivors like these are getting help to overcome the addiction, thousands more are caught in the cycle of confusion, pain and rejection that requires collective effort to break. Parliament in 2019 passed the Narcotics Control Commission Bill, with the Narcotics Control Board becoming a commission with enhanced powers to superintend the industrial use of some narcotic substances. The commission on February 9, 2023 announced that it destroyed about 50 tons of seized marijuana worth 50 million Ghana cedis. This did not sit well with many. Despite all these actions, demand and supply seem to have skyrocketed in the last decade. More worrying is the growing popularity of marijuana, heroin, cocaine and crack cocaine as choice substances of abuse for many.
This is very good.
In Ghana, marijuana is processed into different products such as cakes known as brownies.
I'm going to add a little bit of this. Don't want to do it too much or else people will be high for 40 days and 40 nights.
Toffees, referred to as edibles, and also mixed with alcohol. In areas around Tema, the drink is known as shoka, amen in Osu, and wengeze in Adabraka. In East Legon, the drink is termed atemuda.
This gives you a lot of energy. When the body is clean, then the body functions the way it should.
This is a smart way drug dealers sell in a bid to avoid arrest.
Use of cocaine has risen so much as compared to the early 90s. There are more people using cocaine now and crack cocaine. So the incidence is high. So cocaine use it leads to a lot of things like stealing. You have to sell your things because you don't get satisfied with what you use. As much as you have, you can. That's what makes people to go into stealing. In fact, I say cocaine and heroin leads to most of the social complications. It leads to lung conditions as well, leading to pneumonia and some other things. Cocaine use leads to tooth or dental problems. People having tooth decay, cracks, and what have you. It leads to the decalcification of the whole system. Calcium reserves of the body are reduced. Cocaine use is also known to lead to, bowel gangrene, because it stops the supply of blood to those areas. And it is known that when those pregnant using cocaine, sometimes it leads to spontaneous abortion because there's always a separation between the placenta and the uterus.
Back to Odona Sahara.
The people here in Sahara are very friendly. I'm about to taste this delicacy here called kara kara, just to see how it tastes. So this is actually mashed chicken. Not bad. Hello. That's it. It actually tastes good. Really nice. Too much pepper. Too much pepper.
Emmanuel Moga is a scrap dealer here who buys the recyclables recovered by the waste pickers and sort, clean and process them before selling to other scrap dealers who sell it on. His aim is to reduce the abuse of drugs in the area through his business by creating jobs for them.
The drug is destroying people. You can see some of them and you know that this one that you see, it won't last, it will die. And you can see from far because the thing is destroying them badly. So I normally advise them, even send them to rehab, but it doesn't end up in a good way. Before you realize they are back.
He has employed over 40 residents working under him.
This work is good. The payment is good. You cannot work every day. You say that today you don't get paid. Our master don't tolerate any cocaine. If you are smoking, you will not work under him. That's his principle. Yeah, he don't like those who smoke.
I feel sad for the female cocaine addict here. I wish they can join us too.
Cocaine addiction is usually initiated in the pursuit of pleasure, escaping difficult life situations and boredom. The influence of friends and peers dominates, but it soon becomes a burden. The body becomes a site for pain, and the addicted person stops caring about themselves. They are mostly referred to as junkies. Most of them have flooded the streets of Accra. From what most drug abusers have told me, the cause of the alarming rate of the abuse is traced to the high unemployment among the youth and the general economic situation in the country. Drug addiction by adolescents and young adults continues to be a significant public health issue, which is becoming a serious problem. GodwinAsediba, TV3, Accra.